You're doing everything right. You stopped drinking soda. You're watching your carbs. You bought the walking shoes. You even downloaded the calorie tracking app, which now knows more about your snacks than your spouse does. But the weight still will not move. Your blood sugar still looks like it had a double espresso, and your metabolism is acting like it filed for early retirement. So you start wondering, it must be me. Not necessarily, but you may be making 7 everyday mistakes that quietly stall your progress. And some of them look normal, so harmless, even so healthy, that most people never suspect them. So today, I'm here to help you problem solve, because metabolism is not just math. It is hormones, gut bacteria, sleep, muscle, timing, toxins, and sometimes years of metabolic confusion. Let's get into it. Habit number 1, eating too late at night. I know, sometimes dinner happens late. Work runs over. Kids have activities, and suddenly you're eating salmon at 9:47 p.m. like you're dining at a restaurant called The Kitchen Light is Still On. But your metabolism has a clock. A study called Late Isocaloric Eating Increases Hunger, Decreases Energy Expenditure, and Modifies Metabolic Pathways in Adults with Overweight and Obesity found that eating later increased hunger, lowered leptin, reduced energy expenditure, and shifted fat tissue toward more fat storage. Same calories, different timing, different metabolic response. Late eating may tell the body, store more, burn less, and please send snacks. The fix: try to finish your last meal at least 3 hours before bed. If that is impossible, make the late meal smaller and protein focused, because your metabolism likes rhythm. It does not like surprise midnight nachos. Habit number 2, heating food in plastic. We talk about macros, we talk about sugar, we talk about seed oils, but we rarely talk about the container holding the food. And sometimes the container is giving your metabolism a chemical side quest nobody asked for. BPA, or bisphenol A, is an endocrine disrupting chemical found in some plastics, can linings, and receipt paper. A study called Bisphenol A Decreases Peripheral Insulin Sensitivity in Normal Weight Adults found that short-term BPA exposure impaired insulin sensitivity. That means the body needed more insulin to handle glucose. And when insulin sensitivity drops, fat loss often becomes harder. BPA can act like a hormone impersonator. Basically, BPA walks into your endocrine system wearing a fake mustache saying, "I totally belong here." No sir, you do not. The fix: use glass or stainless steel when possible. Do not microwave plastic. Do not pour hot food or hot coffee into plastic containers. Be careful with canned foods if they are not BPA free. And wash your hands after handling lots of receipts. This is not about fear. It is about reducing metabolic noise. Habit number 3, using artificial sweeteners every day. Now let me be fair. For someone trying to stop drinking regular soda, a diet drink may be a stepping stone. I am not here to slap the Coke Zero out of someone's hand in aisle 7. That is how doctors end up on TikTok for the wrong reason. But for some people, artificial sweeteners may not be neutral. A landmark study called Artificial Sweeteners Induce Glucose Intolerance by Altering Gut Microbiota found that non-calorie sweeteners could change gut bacteria in ways that contributed to glucose intolerance. That is the part people miss. The sweetener may have 0 calories, but your gut bacteria did not get the memo. Sometimes the problem is not calories. Sometimes it is the sweet signal. Your brain still gets sweetness. Your gut still gets the message. And your cravings may never calm down. The experiment: remove artificial sweeteners for 2 to 4 weeks. Try water, sparkling water, mineral water, or unsweetened tea. Let your taste buds reset, because sometimes the issue is not just sugar. It is keeping the brain in a long-term relationship with sweet. Before we go any further, put a happy face in the comments if you've been enjoying my content. Now we've covered timing, toxins, and sweeteners, but this next one may get me in trouble with the health food industry. So if a protein bar company suddenly unfriends me, you'll know why. Habit number 4, eating ultra-processed so-called healthy foods. Many people are not eating obvious junk food. They are eating protein bars, keto cookies, low-carb chips, plant-based nuggets, breakfast shakes, fiber brownies, foods with labels like natural, high protein, gluten-free, guilt-free. And listen, any food that has to tell you it is guilt-free may need a background check. The study, Ultra-Processed Diets Cause Excess Calorie Intake and Weight Gain by Kevin Hall and colleagues, showed that people ate about 500 more calories per day on ultra-processed foods and gained weight. And even when the diets were matched for carbs, fat, protein, sugar, sodium, and fiber. That is a metabolic mic drop. The food itself changed the behavior. Ultra-processed foods are often softer, faster to eat, less satisfying, and engineered to bypass fullness. So when people overeat them, it is not always a willpower problem. It may be a food engineering problem. The fix: build meals around real food, meat, eggs, fish, and if you're not a carnivore like me, low-carb vegetables if you tolerate them, healthy fats, and basically whole foods your grandmother would recognize without needing a barcode scanner and a biochemistry degree. And remember, keto on the label does not automatically mean metabolically helpful. Habit number 5, sitting too long without movement breaks. Notice I did not say not exercising. That is different. You can exercise for 30 minutes and sit still for 10 hours. That is called being an active couch potato. Congratulations, you did one responsible thing, and then let the chair adopt you. Your muscles are one of the biggest glucose disposal systems. When you move, your muscles help pull glucose from the bloodstream. When you sit for hours, the system gets sleepy. This is where NEAT comes in. NEAT is all the energy you burn when you are not formally exercising. Walking, standing, cleaning, taking stairs, pacing during phone calls. Basically, everything besides letting a chair slowly absorb your soul. The fix: move for 2 to 5 minutes every 30 to 60 minutes. Walk after meals. Stand during phone calls. Take stairs. Park further away. If someone asks why you are randomly walking around the office, just say, "I'm improving insulin sensitivity." That usually ends the conversation. And if it doesn't, you will at least sound like the smartest person in the room. Habit number 6, poor sleep or irregular sleep. This is a metabolic wrecking ball. Sleep loss changes hunger signals. Ghrelin goes up, leptin goes down, cortisol can rise, insulin sensitivity can worsen, and suddenly the brain is asking for cookies with the urgency of a toddler denied Wi-Fi. Sleep is not just rest. Sleep is repair. Hormones reset. The nervous system calms down. The appetite system recalibrates. When your sleep is broken, metabolism does not get a full maintenance check. It is like driving your car 90 miles per hour, never changing the oil, then wondering why the engine sounds like a blender full of rocks. The fix: aim for 7 to 9 hours. Keep a consistent bedtime and wake time. Get morning light. Dim lights at night. Avoid caffeine too late. And please do not drink a gallon of water right before bed, unless your goal is to meet your bathroom at 2:13 a.m. Also, think about sleep apnea. If someone snores, wakes up choking, has morning headaches, or feels exhausted despite enough time in bed, that may be a major metabolic saboteur. And now habit number 7. This is the one many people need to hear with compassion. Habit number 7, repeated extreme dieting. Many people have spent years doing the same painful cycle. Lose weight, regain weight, diet harder, regain more. Then get told you just need more discipline. But the body is not a calculator. The body is a survival system. The famous research following the Biggest Loser contestants showed that after extreme weight loss, many had major metabolic adaptation. Their resting metabolic rates dropped far more than expected. And for some, that slowdown persisted years later. That does not mean weight loss is impossible. It means the method matters. Starvation is not strategy. Punishment is not a plan. And eat less until your soul leaves your body is not metabolic medicine. Extreme dieting can lower energy expenditure, increase hunger, reduce muscle, lower leptin, the satiety hormone, and make each future attempt feel harder. The fix is not try harder. The fix is to build a metabolism that feels safe enough to release stored energy. Prioritize protein, preserve muscle, do resistance training, avoid crash diets, use sustainable nutrition, improve sleep, lower insulin resistance, and stop treating your body like it needs punishment. It needs better instructions. So here is the big picture. Your metabolism is not just calories in, calories out. It is circadian rhythm, hormones, gut bacteria, muscle movement, sleep quality, environmental exposures, food quality, and dieting history. This is why two people can eat the same calories and have completely different results. The root cause matters. So if your progress has stalled, do not only ask, how do I eat less? Ask better questions. Am I eating too late? Am I heating food in plastic? Am I using sweeteners every day? Am I relying on processed health foods? Am I sitting too much? Am I sleeping poorly? Have I been crash dieting for years? That is how we stop blaming the person and start investigating the system. And that is where healing begins. And if this video helped you see metabolism differently, hit the like button, subscribe, and tell me in the comments which of these 7 surprised you the most. And also let me know where you're watching from, because metabolism may be complicated, but you are not broken. Your body may simply be asking for better instructions. And when you give the body the right instructions, amazing things can happen.